Have you ever watched Michael Jackson dance and wondered if he was truly human? Did you ever ask yourself how a person could move with such impossible grace, as if gravity simply didn't apply to him? It's a question that has captivated audiences for decades. His feet would glide, his body would snap into impossible angles, and every single movement told a story. It wasn't just dancing, it was a conversation with the music, a physical expression of every beat and every note. We all saw the magic on stage under the bright lights, but what was the secret behind it all? How did he make the impossible look so easy? The answer isn't as simple as just saying he was talented. Of course, he had a gift, but his true genius was built on something much deeper, something we can all learn from. It was a combination of incredible technique, a deep understanding of different dance forms, and a relentless work ethic that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. He didn't just perform dance moves, he invented them, he perfected them, and he owned them. He turned his body into an instrument, and the music flowed through him in a way no one had ever seen before or has seen since. It was a spectacle of pure artistry. Many people think that superstars like Michael are just born that way. We see the final polished product and assume it came effortlessly. But that's the biggest illusion of all. Behind every perfect spin, every sharp pop, and every smooth glide, there were countless hours of sweat, repetition, and even failure. One of the first things you notice about Michael's dancing is his incredible control. This is where a technique called isolation comes into play. Isolation is the ability to move one part of your body completely independently from the others. Think about it. When he would do a sharp head snap, the rest of his body would remain perfectly still, frozen in place like a statue. This creates a stunning, almost surreal effect. It makes the movement pop. It commands your attention because it's not how our bodies naturally move. We tend to move everything together, but Michael mastered the art of separation. This technique was a fundamental building block for so many of his signature moves. When he would do a shoulder shrug, it was just the shoulder. When his fingers would wiggle, his arm was locked. This level of control requires immense core strength and an intense mind-body connection. You have to train your muscles to listen to very specific commands, to fire on their own without recruiting their neighbors. It's like being a puppeteer of your own limbs, pulling one string at a time with absolute precision. This is what gave his movements that clean, sharp, and almost robotic quality that was so mesmerizing. He would use isolations to create rhythm within his own body. He could create a staccato beat with just his chest, popping it in time with the snare drum, while his legs held a completely different rhythm. Of all Michael Jackson's moves, none is more famous than the moonwalk. The first time he performed it on the Motown 25 special, the world stood still. It was pure magic. He appeared to be walking forward while effortlessly gliding backward, defying the laws of physics right before our eyes. The crowd went wild, and in that moment, an iconic dance move was born forever linked to his name. But how did he do it? The moonwalk is a perfect example of his ability to take an existing move and make it his own, polishing it to a level of perfection that made it seem brand new. The technique itself is a beautiful illusion. It's not about sliding. It's about a precise transfer of weight between your feet. You start with one foot flat on the ground and the other on its toes behind it. The magic happens when you smoothly pull the flat foot backward, keeping it completely flat against the floor. As it passes the back foot, you switch. The back foot goes flat and the front foot pops up onto its toes. The key is to make the transition so seamless that it creates the illusion of floating. It requires strong ankles and a smooth, consistent motion. Beyond the smooth glide of the moonwalk, Michael was a master of a completely different style, popping and locking. These are street dance styles that originated in the 1970s, and they are all about hard-hitting staccato movements. Popping involves quickly contracting and relaxing your muscles to create a jerk or a pop in your body. It's the move that makes a dancer look like a current of electricity is passing through them. Michael integrated this technique so seamlessly into his choreography that it became a core part of his dance language, giving his performances an edgy, robotic, and powerful feel. Locking is slightly different. It involves freezing in place or locking into a position, holding it for a moment, and then continuing to move. Think of the way Michael would strike a pose and hold it with an incredible intensity. every muscle tensed before exploding into his next movement. This contrast between sudden stops and fluid motion is what makes locking so visually exciting. He would often combine it with popping, creating a sequence that was both jerky and smooth, robotic and human. This dynamic tension kept the audience on the edge of their seats, never knowing what was coming next. He learned these styles from pioneers of the street dance scene, like the members of the Lockers and the Electric Boogaloos. He was a great observer and a quick study. He wouldn't just copy the moves, he would absorb the feeling and the attitude behind them. Michael Jackson's genius as a dancer wasn't just about mastering one style. It was about his incredible ability to fuse many different styles together. He was like a master chef, taking ingredients from all over the world of dance and blending them into a flavor that was uniquely his own. His movements had the precision and showmanship of classic Hollywood jazz, the rhythmic complexity of tap, and the raw, gritty energy of street dance. This fusion is what made his choreography so rich and unpredictable. From the world of jazz, he borrowed the sharp angles, the dramatic poses, and the importance of presentation. Think of the work of Bob Fosse, with the turned-in knees, the shoulder rolls, and the use of hats and gloves as props. You can see Fosse's influence all over Michael's work, especially in the isolations and the slinky, sensual movements. Then there was the influence of tap. While Michael rarely wore tap shoes, the essence of tap is all over his footwork. Tap dance is about creating rhythm with your feet, treating them like a percussion instrument. Michael did the same thing with his sneakers. Talent can only take you so far. The real secret behind Michael Jackson's seemingly effortless grace was anything but effortless. It was built on a foundation of thousands of unseen hours of grueling practice and relentless dedication. He was famous for his work ethic, often being the first to arrive at rehearsals and the last to leave. For Michael, the dance studio was his laboratory, his sanctuary, and his battlefield. He was a perfectionist in the truest sense of the word. He would practice a single move for hours on end, breaking it down into its smallest components until it was absolutely flawless. He would use mirrors to analyze every angle, every line, and every transition. If a spin wasn't fast enough, he'd do it again. If a freeze wasn't sharp enough, he'd do it again. This obsessive attention to detail is what separated him from other talented performers. He wasn't satisfied with just getting the move right. He had to get it so right that it looked like he wasn't even trying. This dedication extended beyond just the physical practice. He was a lifelong student of dance. He would spend hours watching old films of his idols like Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and James Brown. For Michael Jackson, dance was never just a series of steps. It was a powerful form of communication, a way to tell a story without saying a single word. Every move, every gesture, and every facial expression was carefully chosen to convey an emotion or advance a narrative. When you watch a performance of Billie Jean, you're not just seeing a man dance. You're seeing the story of a man who is being hunted by suspicion, moving through a world of light and shadow. His movements are sharp and furtive, like he's trying to escape something you can't see. Think about Thriller. The dance is not just a dance, it's a key part of the plot. The transformation from human to zombie is told through movement. The iconic zombie dance itself is filled with character. The stiff limbs, the clawing hands, the lurching walk. It's a masterclass in physical storytelling. This ability to communicate so clearly through movement is what made him a universal artist. It didn't matter what language you spoke or what country you were from, you could understand the story he was telling. His body was his instrument, and his emotions were the music. If there is one single element that tied everything together for Michael Jackson, it was his overwhelming passion. You could see it in his eyes every time he stepped on stage. It was a fire that fueled his creativity, drove his work ethic, and connected him with millions of people around the world. This wasn't a job for him. It was his calling. He was completely and utterly in love with music and dance, and that love was infectious. It poured out of him with every spin, every kick, and every note he sang. His passion was the engine behind the entire machine. This passion is what allowed him to endure the endless hours of practice and the immense pressure of global superstardom. When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. For Michael, creating and performing was like breathing. This genuine love for his art is what made his performances feel so authentic and alive. He wasn't just going through the motions, he was living and breathing the music in real time, right in front of you. You weren't just a spectator, you were a witness to someone sharing their soul. He could command the attention of a stadium of 80,000 people with a simple flick of his wrist or a tilt of his head. It was because every single movement, no matter how small, was loaded with intention and emotion, all stemming from his deep love for what he was doing. His passion was his greatest gift, and it's the reason his legacy continues to inspire us all. So what is the ultimate truth behind Michael Jackson's moves? It wasn't a single secret or a magical gift. It was a powerful combination of things we can all strive for: curiosity, dedication, and passion. He showed us that greatness is built, not born. He was a student who studied the past, an innovator who created the future, and a perfectionist who polished every detail until it shined. He blended styles, broke rules, and poured his entire heart into every single step. He created a language of movement that was all his own. His journey teaches us that the key is not to become a copy of someone else, but to find your own unique voice. Michael didn't become a legend by being the next Fred Astaire or the next James Brown. He became a legend by being the first and only Michael Jackson. He took his influences and filtered them through his own unique personality and experiences. He encourages all of us, whether we are dancers, artists, or anything else, to find what you love, to study it, and to make it our own. Your signature style is waiting to be discovered. The path isn't easy. It requires the same dedication he showed. It means putting in the unseen hours when no one is watching. It means practicing the fundamentals, like his isolations, until they become second nature. It means being patient with yourself when you fail, and having the discipline to get up and try again. Excellence is a marathon, not a sprint. But if you are fueled by a genuine passion for what you do, that hard work will feel less like a chore and more like a privilege. It becomes a joyful exploration of your own potential. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to mix things up and create something new. Find what you love, whether it's dancing in your room, writing, painting, or playing a sport. Dive deep into it. Practice with passion, work with dedication, and find your own moonwalk, that one thing that is uniquely you. Michael Jackson's greatest legacy isn't just his collection of amazing dance moves. It's the inspiration to find the magic within ourselves and share it with the world. Now go find your stage.